My wife and I, 32 and 30, just returned from a long weekend camping trip with two longtime friends. It was fun, but I'm still reeling from the morning we left. We prepared for home. I was loading our car when my wife and a friend arrived. In the campground, they were just feet away. I saw him hold her hip and glide down her buttocks as she stooped down to pick something up. Even though she seemed well, my wife quickly withdrew his hand. She smiled sweetly at him. Everything happened fast. It was only 2 seconds, yet I felt slapped in the gut. No one else saw anything when I looked. While they pondered the return trip, his wife packed the car, silent homeward drive. My wife spoke, but I didn't listen. I couldn't forget that scene. I lied when I said I was thinking about work when she asked why I was quiet. Actually, I was surprised. I prefer not to talk. If I told her, she could think I'm crazy or lying. The rest of the day went smoothly. Due to poor sleep last night, I'm having difficulties focusing at work today. My every thought is doubt. Despite what I saw, the trip was great. Nothing was amiss. My understanding of the situation may be off. Her happy expression. It was too nice. Too laid back for something overdone. I love my wife deeply. Ever since our freshman year of college, I've trusted her. My best mate. For the first time, I cannot release a gut knot, not a spy. I've always trusted her. But I'm not sure if I should look at her phone. The password prevented me from doing it without her knowledge. I need to act because this is driving me crazy. Would looking at her phone be impolite? How could I without the password? Changes. The iPad was returned. There was no password. She still had this on her phone after I entered. Girl has Telegram. Talked there. I can read her texts, but she cheats. Not a big break yet. Calmness will help me make the best decision. How should I proceed? Should we meet at her house? Do I talk to him at home? Please help. Change 2. Many thanks for your help. She wasn't informed. I locked myself in my home office to work. You can trust her. My iPad was there. So long has she not used it that she won't notice it's gone. On Be Safe, I saved their SMS screenshots on my phone. It seems they've been conversing for 8 months. They communicate mostly via Telegram. After breaking up with his wife and me, he sent obscene photos, sex texts, and plans to publicize their connection. I'm surprised she hurt me. I saw in the chats that she sent him a seductive snapshot of herself on her way to the gym this evening. Her need for sex led her to kiss me when she got home. Other obligations prevented me from accepting. I'll go with this idea because I'm lost and confused. I will. Many individuals told me to separate my money from hers, joint apartment with bank account. She knows I made a lot of money from the accident that killed my parents 2 years ago. She cannot access this fund. What should I do to be safe? Never had kids. Change 3. Since I work from home and have no meetings, I researched lawyers this morning and contacted many. I have 2 meetings tomorrow, but most must wait until next week. I'll contact his wife and provide documentation when I hire a lawyer and get insurance. After telling her, I'll give her time to gather her stuff and consult a lawyer before telling my wife. Not sure how I feel. Actually, I'm not mad. Perhaps more died. Sex texts make me queasy simply thinking about them. But I feel like I'm living someone else's life while doing my job. She'll notice if I keep this poker gaze for long. I appreciate your feedback and help. Change 4. Your advice made me feel insignificant. Not much has changed since yesterday. Gyms keep me active. My parents died next month, so she knows. She asked what was wrong. I merely told her I was thinking about them. My legal appointments are mostly next week. Although some are today afternoon. I'll update after choosing a lawyer and learning my other options. The op should get proof and a lawyer. She smiled when your friend touched her. Yes, unsettling. Not much to see. Correct, that topic made people nervous. She didn't appear upset that someone crossed a line. Any partner would disagree. 5 days later. My lawyer filed my divorce papers this morning after a few days. My cheating proof cannot be used in court since I reside in a no-fault state. I did not spend my money on my marriage. Thus it is safe. We got our home as a wedding gift. Someone must buy out or sell the other since we each put 50% down. I contacted the second lied-to partner Saturday to meet for coffee. Her spouse and my wife's one-night excursion was funny. The iPad teachings taught me. In one story, my wife spent the weekend with her sister helping with the kids while her sister's husband was on business and her husband was working on a project. My spouse and her husband traveled to a Casanova-funded hotel. Their Telegram messages were shown to her. Photographs exist. Everything. She said she saw him retreating a few months ago. She thought it was work stress and didn't know he was cheating. She was devastated when she realized her husband was cheating with my friend's wife. After talking more, I gave her my lawyer's number to contact. While she weighed her options. Sunday night after visiting my sister, I went home. She kissed me and said she missed me after spending the weekend with her partner as she entered. Her divisions seemed malevolent. I sat her down and requested a conversation. I watched the entire talk without telling her. An attorney advised me to live in a state where only one person agrees. It happened like this. I told her to be honest. Okay, kids. She was scared. Next, I questioned her. Do you love me? Yes, you happy with me? Good stuff, kid. Have I been a good husband? How should I treat you? Yes and yes. What's up? Please wait. Okay. Have I ever hurt you mentally or physically? Of course not. What the heck? If you like me, why lie to her? She stared at me blankly before declining. Once I knew she was telling the truth, I told her to stop. She broke down and admitted to kissing a man who had been pursuing her at a bar a few months before. I have no idea why. The situation was absurd, so I laughed. She cheated me often. Did she cheat once? In her defense, she said it was 1 week, intoxicated, and pointless episode. I said nothing. On my lawyer's business card, I announced my divorce. I did not. I only wanted to talk to her once to save our marriage. She may phone my lawyer to reach me. She begged, cried, and apologized. She then lied to me while I packed my luggage, saying I was accidentally throwing away everything we owned. The hardest part was when she said I was alone. What would make me abandon my only family? That hurt since I told her she was my only family after my parents died and I couldn't rely on anyone else, but she disagreed. While looking for a new place, I stayed in a motel that night. Divorce papers were filed yesterday. Edit, I answered some comments. I didn't tell her she kissed a weird bar patron. She learned from her. Another lied to partner called her to insult her. The other misinformed spouse was outraged when I told her. I know he raped her. He should have helped her, but he hangs out with my wife while her mother is sick and she travels. Instead, she shocked me by confessing to kissing a bar customer. It may seem trivial compared to her secret life with my friend, but that's when I realized how much she wanted to cheat on me, which startled me. Yelling prevented me from talking to her, so I left. Why is hard to explain. When she told me, it made more sense to go than to ask why she was with my friend. She left notes when I left the house that night. After the second duped partner notified her husband the next day, she tried to contact me. She hasn't responded. And him. I pulled it together after my wife stopped contacting me after the cheating husband texted that she had spoken with him and called her. Change. May, your kind remarks and assistance are much appreciated. Moving out, taking a sabbatical, and divorcing are the best ways to protect oneself legally and emotionally. After it's over, you can focus on healing without interrogating her about it. You did everything right, including protecting your legacy, having a financial strategy, and being reasonable. Changes. Since my last post, changes have occurred. My wife received divorce papers last week, still in the motel but nearing an apartment. My iPad was forgotten when I left last week. It was there when I returned a few days later for clothes and other supplies. In a disagreement with her bar partner, my wife said her friend was telling me about kissing that hot guy. Her acquaintance may have stopped chatting. After the incident, his wife kicked him out and he moved in with his sister. We chatted. Her divorce was voluntary. Several common friends have discussed the situation. Each stopped talking to them. Last week, the jerk visited my wife twice and stayed overnight. She also texted her sister, who knew the lie. My wife hired a lawyer and told her sister that she thought it was unjust that her lawyer briefed her about asset distribution and that she had no claim to my riches. This is gut punch. Our apartment hunt and official conversations have slowed since my wife's lawyer visited us, which I thought odd. A few days ago, she asked me to break up with him. She loves me, thinks we're crazy, and thinks everyone deserves another chance. She stated, I can't live without you without the iPad. I might have thought she was sorry. But after what she'd done all week, I figured this was her way of informing me she wouldn't take my money. I was hurt. The lawyer advised me not to reply. I feel horrible thinking about her, my friend, and her sister. She seems to change her mind after promising not to touch my money, which worries me. I repeatedly told her I would save the money in a trust fund for children. It reminded me of my parents' death, so I didn't touch it. She mistreated me and my parents, who loved and caressed her like a daughter. Thank goodness they're not here. Saturday and Sunday I saw his wife. My friend is struggling since her mother is sick, educating her about texts. After her husband tried to reconnect, she questioned their breakup. I showed her my legacy communications and said they were getting cooler, which changed her perspective. I also found her statement intriguing. I received their money a few months after they died, so her husband labeled me a lucky witch son. After I lost them, she wondered why he called me lucky. He denied meaning it. She ignored it, but now she doesn't understand his goal. After her divorce from me, she seemed to think she'd receive some after moving on with him. No matter what, their behavior is awful. I take care of myself. I saw a therapist. Gym attendance is almost religious. I'm sober. I struggle to appear strong. Several friends say I'm freezing. That's my only hope of surviving today without going insane. It's hard at night. I have trouble sleeping. Drinking helps me cope with challenges. Not proud, I sometimes cry myself to sleep. Change. Unless anything unforeseen happens or I need another sub, I won't post anymore. There will be no new report for several months, until the divorce is finalized. I appreciate your advice and assistance. Amazing how bad things have gotten for your wife and this friend. She changed from cheating to appealing for a second chance after realizing she wouldn't inherit your riches. It shows she doesn't care about your connection. Your friend's irresponsible behavior, specifically mentioning stealing your parents' money, is troubling. I wonder if they both saw cash. You don't have to be a rock to survive in the cold, although it seems to be useful every day. Your thoughts? Thanks for visiting our space today. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to not miss the next movie. Until then.